memories
It
of?
was a nice German town, very nice.
What kind of stuff? You said you were on a farm. What kind of stuff did you have on your farm?
Oh, we had everything, what
What-
you can think of.
What did you guys grow there?
We grew potatoes, hemp, corn, wheat, what else?
Poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
And what did you do with these? Did you have a market? Was it self-sustaining?
Well, we only bought the sugar. We were self-sustaining. We had 4 to 6 pigs we fed to kill and used the meat. It was all
used to-
smoked.
Plant sugar beets too, right?
Sugar beets
Sugar beets,
too,
that's
yeah.
what we traded in for sugar.
And we were self-sustaining. We only bought the necessary slow things from the store.
Was this in town, or did you have to travel to
No,
do this?
it's my uncle had a corner store. We had
What was it called?
2, I don't know what it was
It's just a
called.
little grocery store he had there. And
Well, 2 grocery stores in town, and my uncle had one. So
How long had your family lived on this farm?
my grandfather came, my great-grandfather came in 1820 or 30 to the town. Our town was very young.
Mm-hmm.
And my great-grandfather lived there, and my grandfather, and the 3 generations were there already,
Do you remember where they came from before that, or?
from Hungary.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so your father was in the First World War. Krieg.
He was in
Did he ever speak about it, or what do you know from him about his experience?
Well, I don't know much from the First War.
yeah, they didn't speak too much about it.
No.
No.
Did he ever have any post-traumatic stress or have night terrors?
No.
Or could you tell me about him a little bit?
Oh, it was after the First World War. A lot of people came from our town. They went to America, and my father, he was ready to go too. He wanted to go to America, and his father, because my father was the oldest one of the family of 7.
What was his name?
My father
Mm-hmm.
was Anton, and my grandfather's name was this Carl.
Carl.
Carl. And he said, Anton, you're gonna leave me? And so he unpacked his suitcase and stayed. But he always wanted to come to America. And it was tough. And then a few times when they attacked our town, the partisans, they were in a neighboring town, they were sharpening the knives. And they said, we knew some people from the neighboring town, and they said, when we get into this town, there's gonna be blood flowing, that everything is gonna be killed, slaughtered with the knives and everything. But they didn't make it in because we had a wall around our town, just like the Old West had,
Mm-hmm.
and so they did not succeed, but they kept attacking our town time and time again over
Well,
2.5
why
years.
didn't they succeed? There were 2 men. They were home on furlough from the army,
Which army?
German
from the
army.
German army, and they said you cannot go to that town, that's all under siege. So they said, my God, my family's there. So they sent a plane to check, and the plane came back. He said he cannot do nothing because they're all partisans around. So they told him they should see where the wall is, but if it's outside from the wall, they can kill,
They can shoot and
they can shoot. And then they came back and they succeeded. Then the partisans left, but they were ready to come into town. And they came, the soldiers came and said, we're gonna break through, we run. And if somebody falls down, don't try to help, we have to run. That's our only return resources. That's our only thing that we can do.
that we can be saved.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, the German army came in because the plane
Came around.
bombarded the outside.
Okay.
So,
And how many German soldiers were protecting where you lived?
not too many, maybe 200.
And how many partisans would you say there were?
Oh, a lot. We have no idea, but a lot died because the neighbor, the town, they told us, and I think we lost about 70 people or 80 people from our town, soldiers and our town people.
About how many people lived in your town before the war?
Oh, but close to 2,000.
Well, there was about 300 families.
Okay.
But 2,000 people,
Yeah, well-
close to 2,000 people we had.
Do you ever have any nightmares or anything like that from time then, or?
Well, I cannot say that I had any nightmares.
Well,
No.
I used to, when we used to get together and then we would talk about it, and I would have dreams that we had to run, and my mother would get shot, and I would carry her, and then I would wake up really exhausted and crying, and it was very dramatic, you know, to have, and quite a few times I would have those dreams when we would get together and reminisce about the past, what happened, and it was just, and then after 2.5 years, we had to evacuate because it was too bad, and our parents, my mother and my father, they were the leader on the wagon train, and they packed all the stuff that they could onto the wagon, and they left with the German soldiers guarding and helping them so they wouldn't get attacked. And they went over Hungary into Austria on the they had a thing, I don't know what they would call it. It was like a float where all the
Floating
wagons went on,
bridge.
floating bridge, and that's how they got into Austria. And this is how the wagon train looked. And
There's your mother and a soldier.
and that's my mother and the soldier standing there. And my father's probably in the background someplace.
What year is this, would you say?
That was in October '44.
Okay, so before the war was over?
Yes, yes.
No, the
Can
war
you
was
grab
not
it and
over.
bring it
No,
up
he
a little
said
closer?
before the war was over, yes.
He's gonna hold it up to the camera a little closer
Okay.
real quick, and then I'm gonna start a new file here. Tilt it down a little for me. Pull it out. It's too close. Right there. Stay. Just to get a look at the picture, okay? It's a good place to take a little pause. And there's that bridge over the water. Yeah.
Yeah.